This is an interview with J. Krishnamurti by P. Hunt Perry in Ojai, California, 1984.
Krishnaji, there are two main questions I want to ask, but let's start with the larger overall one first. Krishnamurti's physical body is getting older. I would like to know what Kay's relationship with death is at this time.
What do you mean by death?
Well, it seems to me that when we talk about death, we talk about two things. One is the ending of the physical body, and the other is the ending, or what happens to consciousness.
Could we take it for granted there is the ending of the organism, which happens to all human beings?
Right.
And there is the ending also, what one calls the ego, the me, the personality, and all the things he has done or not done, achieved or not achieved.
Right.
So, one generally talks about, one means by death, generally, ending.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you mean by ending? Ending of what? If you use the word consciousness, it's a bit too, for the moment, we'll come into present day, too complex. So what is the thing or the meaning of the word ending? Ending of what? And if there is an ending, is there a beginning?
Is there not a stream which sort of we flow in during, or we are in during existence, out of which one steps?
No, but I would like to ask you, what do you mean by ending?
By ending. By ending, I suppose that I mean the ending. Well, that's a question I want to ask you, because one of the things that interests me is, does anything continue after what we talk about ending? For instance,
Yes,
the Buddha ended.
First, before we go into the question of what is there after the ending,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to catch you or anything. But what do you mean by ending? Generally, we all say we are going to end.
Mm-hmm.
The world is coming to an end. A particular political system is coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And so on. The ending of a career. The ending of a mortgage. The ending of a journey. The ending of a marriage, and so on, so on. So, when we talk about ending, what do you mean by that word? What is the significance or the content of that word?
Well, for most
to you, what does it mean? The ending of something.
I suppose if we look at it without any judgment,
without any emotions,
without the emotions, it merely means cessation.
Cessation. Cessation of what?
Of that which we have built up in this stream for the whole of lifetime.
So, you're saying, that the ending means cessation or the finality or the death of all that one has built, not only outwardly, a career, accumulation of knowledge, experience, and so on outwardly, but also all that one has inwardly struggled to become, to be, to achieve,
Right.
to all the pain and the pleasure of life. And that is the ending of that is death.
That's part of it. But I guess my question goes further. Is there, in that ending, also a continuation? Does ending...
No, I think, if I may put it, is the ending more important than the continuation? If there is a continuation, it is not ending. If it is, I'm going to continue as I am, it's rather monotonous.
Well, it's not as I am, but is there that which continues? For instance, the Buddha lived and there was Buddha consciousness. Is that gone now?
Who talks of Buddha consciousness?
Well, the consciousness that was
The Buddha.
Buddha, has that gone?
That's rather different. Don't go so far back.
Right.
Let's talk about Mr. X.
All right.
Mr. X has had a career in some discipline or other. He has had various experiences, emotional, sexual, painful. Has lived fairly intelligent life, travelled, read, and had fairly cultured life. Fairly. Culture, I'm using the word in quotes. And he's about 80, and he's facing death, which is very carefully cultivated not to face. Right?
Right.
And the doctors say, oh boy, you've come to the end of things. You've got cancer or some kind of terminal disease, and that's the end of that. And he probably say, I had a jolly good life. And I don't mind that. I don't mind coming to an end of all the things I've had, pleasure and so on. But also, as he's travelled a good bit, he also has heard of reincarnation continuously and all the rest of it. So he said, perhaps there's something in that. Right? But inwardly, he really wants to continue.
To hold on.
To hold on.
It's really another form of attachment.
He wants to hold on. Because he's not quite sure about what's going to happen. So I would like to ask a man or a woman, what really do you mean by ending? Because then perhaps the ending may be something extraordinary. But if you keep on asking, is there a continuity, then it becomes rather monotonous, dreary, the repetition of what has been, modified and changed and accommodated and pushed around. So I think I would ask him, if you're at all a serious man, I would say, what do you mean by ending? What do you mean by death? Ending. Have you ever stopped ending anything voluntarily, easily, without going through all kinds of turmoil and exercise of will and all that kind of thing? You know, said, but I'll give up this easily. Has he ever done such a thing in life? Give up something?
So that he would really know.
Empty hand. I held something and said, oh, I dropped it long ago. Not at the last moment.
Not in the crisis, but
Not in the crisis.
right.
Not by being bullied by death. So I would ask him, have you done anything like that?
But suppose we were talking about Mr. K, who may have stepped out of that stream.
I'm coming to that. No, I refuse to go into that unless we both of us understand very clearly the implication of really ending something.
But is ending the same to everyone?
Suppose X is married. He divorces her, it's a name. But then he goes after another woman, marries her. But it's the continuity of the same thing. So, does he end anything? Is there such a thing as ending? Or is there always the ending and the continuing? The ending and repeated. I don't know if you follow me. It's rather interesting. Much more.
Yes.
And what is implied in ending, totally?
The absolute giving, the absolute surrender, giving up.
Giving up what?
Anything to which one is wants or it is attached.
Does one ever do that? Sounds good in a theory. Has Mr. X ever done that? Really given up something without persuasion, without a motive, without saying, if I give up this, I'll get that. Reward and punishment. And he said, look, I'm what? I hate somebody. X says, I hate that man. And he said, all right, I'm no more. Finished. Not ending means ending, not gradual ending. It's not a gradation in time. Slowly covering little by little.
It means doing it.
Doing it.
I know at one point in my life I was trying to end coffee, giving up coffee many, many years ago. I tried for 2 years or more. It didn't happen. Then one day, it was done.
Well,
never again.
How did it take?
I don't know. I don't know. I just know that for 2 years I tried and I gave it up sort of gradually, and then one day I just sort of saw it, and that was it. The end. Never coffee again.
Is that the result of having tried 2 years?
I don't know. Is it?
I wouldn't know. It depends.
It didn't seem so to me.
On the circumstances of the condition of various.
It didn't seem so to me. It seemed as if there were two very different things. One was when I was in trying, and one was when I did it.
Yeah.
And they were totally different.
But now, how does one do it? X is attached to his wife. Both. He knows theoretically that he's around the corner. The end. And K will he, before death comes, say, all right, all well, I'm completely free of you, detached, whatever body I've ended, certain relationship, so completely. There is no, you follow? No contact, no. Physically, it's very easy, but inwardly, psychologically, to end something like that means sudden ending of the past. No, there's nothing in the future.
So ending is not only about the past, it's about the future.
Ending.
It's ending.
But mistake says I can't do that because I must have some kind of hope, some kind of something in the future to hold on to, which is still attachment.
Mm-hmm.
So, please.
Well, suppose there were someone who stepped out of that stream. Suppose we take...
Don't enter into the stream. First,
all right.
We must establish what we mean by the stream. We must also be clear in our understanding, both semantically and actually. The tremendous implication of ending. Both externally and inwardly. The ending of a certain thought, the ending of certain experience to a child, one has come to end it completely so that the roots have been pulled out. That's it. That's quite so extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Is that death?
Is that death? Is it dying to what is now rather than...
Don't use the word now. I think that's rather comfortable.
That's right.
The present.
That's true.
So this is very serious because ending my relationship with one's wife, with whom one has lived for 50, 60 years, with all the memories, with all the, accumulation of 50 years, to end it completely so that there is no memory of it. Yes? No hope or no future. There is an ending. I think this is really requires a great deal of inward search and inward accuracy. You can't be dishonest about it. Instead, suppose I'm attached to this house. This house is not the four walls in the pictures or no pictures, but the house, the idea of the house. The idea, I have lived here, and so are all the house which has shelter, which has given me, etc., etc. The whole 50 years or 80 years of that memory of this house, with all its implications, can that end so completely? There is no house at all. That is, can the memory, this interest, can the memory of the house totally gone? If there is a continuity, the conditioning of that house still will go on.
If there is a continuity where?
It will go on. Don't say where for the moment. We'll come back to that a little later. It'll go on in some form or another.
Mm-hmm.
Or may not go on at all. We're going to find out. That means, can the brain, which has recorded 80 years of all the things that have happened in that house, associated events, the impressions, the beautiful trees, the sky, the whole of that, which is recorded in the brain, yes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To end that record, which means the cells themselves have ended their own memory. I don't know if you follow it.
Mm-hmm. If you were to walk away from this house right now and never see it again,
It's all right.
is that all right?
It's totally right. I've done all that. That's
Mm-hmm.
because for me, when I come to a place like Ojai, I totally forget what's happening in Brockwood and India and all that. Otherwise, I carry all the it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that possible? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Can human beings who have gathered for a household,
Mm-hmm.
the books, the pictures, the associations, the
Mm-hmm.
whole of that for 80 years, can that end? And because we don't end it, we want the other. Continue it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the continuity, it is the same pattern repeated. It may not be this house, it may be another room. It may not be this particular woman or that man, but it may be another woman. It's the same circle.
Pattern continues even if content changes. Mm-hmm.
So that's why one should really ask this question, because it's got tremendous meaning to it. That may be creation.
That ending may be creation.
Total ending. No remnants left, no memories left.
Then there's a real beauty of ending, you're saying. A real, it is beautiful. People associate it with fear or terror.
And that's
No,
all silly.
but what you're saying is there is an exquisite beauty in ending.
You said just now, earlier, that you dropped coffee
Mm-hmm.
and never touched it again, meant nothing to you. I think one can do those things physically,
Mm-hmm.
both biological things and certain tastes and certain habits. I think they're very simple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you
Mm-hmm.
belating what you did or anything like that.
Understand.
But I think one could ask much deeper questions. See, like those people who say, well, this present is no good, but the next one will be better.
Mm-hmm.
And when the next one comes, it's not so good as I thought, but perhaps the next one will be better. You follow?
Mm-hmm. But weren't you also perhaps indicating when you were talking about the coffee there, before we get further, that if one could, for example, drop one's attachment to one's child, a psychological inward attachment, that would be a deeper level than the biological of giving up coffee.
Yeah,
In other words, we have to begin to work within at deeper levels.
Yeah, I
For
will
instance,
begin
my
at the
child.
deeper level.
Mhm.
If there is such thing as a deeper level,
All right.
I will certainly work first at the psychological level.
Mhm.
And then see the effect of it on the outside.
Mhm.
Not from the outside to the inner, because that's a very distorting affair.
But see it from the inner is what
But
you're saying?
that requires very, very careful, how shall we say, a criteria that's absolutely right. You know what I mean? Say, for instance, one can't go off into the hills and judge the world. You must know what the world is like, actually. Brutal, and all the rest of it.
And beautiful, too.
And beautiful, and all the rest of it. Depends what you call beautiful. If one lived in slum, it'd be a horror. In fact, you follow, one must have a measure. Let's use the word measure for the moment. So that if you have no proper measurement of the outer, you may not have proper measurement of the inner. Yes, sir.
But can one is measurement
Measurement, you
what we
say,
mean here?
what's the word?
Discernment, maybe,
Uh-huh.
rather than measurement.
What?
Do we mean discernment rather than measurement? To discern rather than to
My
measure?
discernment may be distorted.
But our measurement may be
Maybe
distorted.
distorted. So what I'm trying to say is, unless we have correct outward appreciation or outward understanding what's happening, I may not have that clarity inwardly. I must have clarity outwardly. Let's use that word for a moment. Of what is happening in Libya and in Britain, Falkland Wars. You follow? I must know what's happening, not as a judgment, value judgment, but look what's happening. There's murderers are in Punjab, the murderers are in Beirut, and then there's going on in San Salvador and so on and so on and so on. That's all facts. They may be distorted by the reporters, but it is taking something of that kind is going on. So I'm very clear on that. Clear in the sense, as far as one has read, been told, discussed, this is what's happening. So if I'm inwardly, if I'm not very clear, I will be distorted. The outer clarity of the events may help to see clearly inwardly. If I'm muddled there, I muddle be inwardly. So when we talk about ending, to be free of the whole past. That's what death is.
And to be free of it while still living
Yeah, that's the whole problem.
does not, right, that's the problem, and it doesn't mean lack of caring. I can be free of attachment to my child and still care for the child, right?
You've got, naturally, you've got affection, love for the
And
child.
that
See, so love is love attachment.
that's a semantic problem, because real love,
I don't call it real form.
Okay.
Is love. Attachment.
not love. Love does not have to be attached. Does not attach.
Most people would say, what do you mean by that? Most people say, no, what nonsense. Now, if I'm not attached, I can't love. If I'm not jealous, I don't know what love is.
That's right. That's a common one.
So is death the final ending of everything? Or death is only a great event for further continuity? Yes?
For further continuity.
Yeah. Let's discuss it.
Well, I think what comes up for me is to...
You've got all kinds of notes.
Oh yes, I have all kinds of notes. I still... I have all this academic training, Krishnaji, that,
Good.
right,
Please
that brings
use your
these notes with me,
use
you
your
know.
academic training so that discipline.
I'm trying to get unattached from it.
No, please.
If Kay has ended that in life, and let's just for a moment say that stream, has stepped out of that stream while living,
What stream?
that stream of life, what life is to most people. If one steps out of attachment...
Just a minute, careful.
All right.
What do you mean by life?
I'm just using it now as that everyday,
Which means every day.
the attachments, the so forth.
Boredom, the habits,
Right.
the pain,
Right.
the pleasure, the
Right.
fear, affection, sorrow.
Joy.
Oh.
Because someone steps out of that
Yes,
stream,
Yeah, someone steps out.
steps out. Now, how is death different for that person, let's call him Mr. K, who has stepped out of that stream? What happens at that ending, or after, if we can talk about after, which is another problem, but how is that different than Mr. X, who has
Right.
always stayed in that stream?
Mr. X, I'm speaking Mr. X. I'm Mr. X. I never thought about all this. I've lived rather shoddy little life, and occasionally been intelligent, occasionally been affectionate, monotonous, the monotony of life, the boring, going to the office day after day, day after day, day after day, and pleasure of sex, and the whole business of life. And that's the stream, or rather, that's a small rivulet, small trickle of a trickle, and billion trickles that make a vast stream.
Mhm.
Vast
Right.
stream.
Right.
Out of that vast stream I am.
Right. That is not separate from me. That is.
I am that stream.
I am that
It's
stream.
obvious.
Right.
And as long as I'm in that stream will go on. Whether I die, whether I don't die, I am that stream.
Right.
And when I die, the body, that stream goes on.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. We're talking about Mr. X now.
Yeah, which is me.
Right.
That stream will go on.
But
Let's
okay.
finish this. Suppose you step out of that stream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, step out is not correct expression. Suppose you are completely free of that stream. That stream, and you have no relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a relationship, you are part of that stream.
All right.
And you, after great enough inquiry, life, way of living, and so on, you have moved away from it.
Mm-hmm.
You are no longer, except biologically, you are no longer in this stream.
Mm-hmm.
And your organism dies,
Mm-hmm.
like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You are asking all you, what happens to you?
The one who has been away from that stream.
From that stream.
Right.
No longer involved or
Right.
propelled or carried away by that stream.
Right.
What happens? Now, just a minute. Why do you ask that question? From your heart.
Right. Because if I would like to know the impact on the stream, which is humanity.
What impact such a person has on the stream?
What an impact the person has on the stream.
That impact.
But also the impact for the person, how it's different for the person himself or herself. So there are two
things.
Two things.
Yes. All right. Impact on, let's take that first one. Mm-hmm.
On the stream?
Yeah, impact on the stream.
All right.
What effect, what impact, what meaning is moving away or totally disassociating or ending that his relationship with that stream.
Mm-hmm.
What effect has it on the stream?
Mm-hmm.
Has it any effect? First, I'll be critical about it. Has it any effect?
I don't know. That's why I came to ask
No,
you.
I understand. We're discussing this matter.
Mm-hmm.
If there have been people, perhaps one or two, who have really moved away, actually, not theoretically or
Not with thought, not with
cut.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take a person like the Buddha,
Mm-hmm.
of whom you naturally know.
Mm-hmm.
What effect has had on mankind? $2,500 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
long before Christianity was ever evolved.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what effect has it? There have been very, very, very few, even while he was living, only 2 disciples who really understood. Disciples, they didn't call them. The 2 people who really understood him. Sarvabhauma and Siddhartha, you know the names. And they died before he died. The tragedy of that too. Sorry, it's hay fever. What effect does it have on the human consciousness and the human beings? Actually, look at the world now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The Asiatic world, where Buddha's teaching is supposed to have expanded. It has now turned into Zen Buddhism, Tibetan form Buddhism, Korea. All over Asia it's become a symbol. Temples, worshipping the figure of the Buddha, the person, which he said, don't do. They are doing everything contrary to what he said.
But is there, because of the manifestation that was the Buddha, because that manifested, is there something which continues, we'll liberally call it a consciousness for a moment, which can be contacted or which can be, which can have a continuing impact?
The Buddhists say it can. You know, some of them do.
Mm-hmm. But I'm asking you.
I'm very careful about this now. Some people say yes. He's left part of his consciousness on the earth. Mm-hmm. Sounds all silly to me personally. Of course, take great painter, great musicians, Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, take those 3. They have left music, great music. I heard it yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm.
What impact has it on that great music on each one of us? Actually, we listen to it, and say what marvelous thing it is. There's this whole romantic, emotional, and the beauty of sound, the whole content of that music, and you listen to it for half an hour, and you go back to your life. What contact has it on one, actually?
But
no, just take that example.
I think if you really go into that music.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by going into it.
If it becomes part of you. No, if you don't, if you doesn't listen.
No, that means what?
If you become part of the music, if the music and you become one, if you don't listen, if you stop listening.
Wait a minute, that sounds excellent. Stop listening. Switch it off.
No. I don't mean stop listening that way. If you become one with the music.
Now, I don't understand. I may, but I'm taking the devil's advocate.
You're doing a good job of that.
But I hate any kind of superstition, kind of make believe, you know what I mean? Lacks honesty. I hate dishonesty, even for myself. I don't want to be dishonest about anything. When one listens to it, part of that listens to it, or don't listen to it, but be quiet with it. See what's happening, what's going on. The record is going on. I've forgotten myself. Right. I've forgotten myself.
Or maybe the self is no longer there.
Yeah.
It isn't even I have forgotten.
As I see some beautiful mountain, I forget myself. And listening to Beethoven, the thing so immense, you know. You see, that music, for an hour I listened, I've forgotten everything. As we said, I'm not there. The self isn't there. But the self comes back.
That's right.
After an hour, I'm back to my old rotten little self.
And it's the same thing with talking about totally being apart from the stream.
That's what I'm saying. You go to the temple, or the church, or whatever. You go to the temple, the beauty of it, the rhythm of it, the incense, all the circus that goes on round in there. You're carried away for the time being. Afterwards, you carry on with your life. Right? Now, the same thing has happened, hasn't it, with regard to the Buddha?
What do you mean by that?
If he has said some things, very clear, a lot of intellectual, real depth in it.
He saw. He saw.
He saw. And after 2,500 years, I built a temple. Or somebody built a temple, I go there. I intone something and ring bells and incense and pray and all the rest of it. For an hour I'm lost there and come back to my daily life. Has that hour influenced my life? Influenced or modified, changed, or broken the system and say I'm out?
No.
No. Because what human beings want is security, comfort, safe, say somebody is there protecting, somebody to whom I can appeal.
But suppose the person the one who does step out, if someone stepped out, would that person then have to become a world teacher, we'll say, or would that person still be able to be a farmer or an artist, or would that person be able to...
I doubt it if you would be a farmer or an artist. That's limited.
He would then have to take a larger perspective.
Yeah. Much larger.
Much larger. What would he do then? Teach?
Then talk, write.
Talk and write.
And preach or whatever they do. We are questioning whether that preachment, that his efforts, his sermons, his way of talking, living, has that had the effect on humanity?
So it has, for the one who has stepped out, there is the loosely termed obligation or responsibility. That's a better word. There's
I
a
question the word
responsibility.
responsibility.
No? Why?
What do you mean responsibility?
Does he or she have a responsibility
You know
to help others out of the street?
You
Well, not
know
help
the whole Buddhist system. That's why I catch you.
You're catching me, Krishnaji.
The Bodhisattva of the Hindu, of the Buddhist mythology. That is, there is the Buddha who is gone. I don't know if he's gone. They'd say he's gone.
I was going to ask you if he was gone.
There is Maitreya Buddha, the Bodhisattva, who has taken a vow, apparently, it sounds, not to become the Buddha till humanity is free of sorrow. Right? That's the Buddhist system of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Is that so? I know they have said it. All the Buddhist literatures talk a great deal about all the Bodhisattva and the one who is enlightened but remains.
Mm-hmm.
You know all that, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
As humanity, raw humanity, not a particular human being who is part of the stream but he stepped out, believe that figure, that concept, will it affect humanity? Who has really affected humanity?
That's a very good question.
You are affected in the sense, profoundly change their outlook on life.
Well, I don't like to quantify, but is there a critical mass of those who must step out of the stream in order to have an impact on humanity? Is the one who has stepped out of the stream needing to have, not needing, but
Look,
does there have to be a certain number?
Suppose you step out of the stream.
I'm willing.
No, suppose you have stepped out of the stream.
Uh-huh.
You see what's happened in the world.
Right.
The amazing stupidity of it all. Right?
Right.
The sadness, the appalling things that are going on. What effect have you on the government? On the political leaders? They are ambitious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each man out for himself in the name of country and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
So what actually,
Mm-hmm.
what effect have you? Or there are some, I am in the stream, I listen to you. And I say, my God, that's true, let me do it. Perhaps one or two.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The rest, this is what's happened. You understand? You hope, not hope, you say, I must do something. And you put your life into it. And you see few come out. You're not concerned. Who concerned? You say certain things which are true. You're not concerned.
You say those things that are true. You're not concerned who comes out of it.
Oh, what comes out of your saying? You don't. Suppose I read a poem. And Keats.
Mm-hmm.
I read a poem. Better than Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
Keats was his old son, apart from Shakespeare could never write this. I can read those poems, get to see the beauty of it, enjoy it. We're asking it really a good question. We should. We're all being influenced.
Mm-hmm.
Magazines, newspapers, television, books, everything is pouring into you. You are being impressed. Now, the man who steps out of the stream, or the woman, is he trying to impress people?
No. If he's doing it for that, he couldn't get out of the stream. It wouldn't even be possible.
Therefore, what happened? He says, this is so.
Right.
This is the food you should eat.
Mm-hmm.
It'll keep you healthy, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
This is the right kind of meal.
Mm-hmm.
Eat it. And they said, sorry, I'm used to my old food. Go. So very nice. But they don't eat it.
But why do they come? Why do they come to hear you say that?
Hmm?
Why do they come to hear you say that? They recognize something in the person who has stepped out of the stream. They have this feeling.
Yes,
they have the feeling. They want to be in the presence because it is this feeling.
You were in Madras, you were in Delhi and so on.
Right.
When Kay spoke there were several, 5,000 or 6,000 at each meeting,
right,
or more. What effect has had all that on those people? They couldn't tell you what he said. Perhaps those who have read and heard. Well, but the vast majority, they want to be in that ambiance.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel, my God, how nice it is, they're peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I understand a little bit what he's talking about. But he's a religious man, so I must be in the presence of a really religious human being. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And one or two say, God, I'm going to live it.
Is that enough? Is that why Kay talks, so that
Probably,
one or two?
Probably, that's all. Somebody might pick it up.
So
It's like you plow and sow the seed. Some seeds come and the others don't. Come up and the others don't.
And you're not attached to which ones come up.
That would be terrible. That would be exploiting the people. You then become a politician.
But still, this is a very serious question, because the world is at a point now where such a stepping out is perhaps the only way that the world will survive. So we're talking about something very, very serious here.
Of course.
So if Kay is there a way that Kay or someone who has stepped out of the stream can do the teaching or the talking in a different way to make it heard?
I don't quite follow.
Is there another way to make it heard by more than one or two people? Is there a way to germinate more seeds? We put fertilizer on seeds and we have more come up.
Look.
Is there a way to do that?
You were in New York.
Mm-hmm.
There were 3,000 people, let's say,
mm-hmm.
or 4,000, I don't care. Mm-hmm. There's a great silence, very attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very few people moved it, which is rare in America. They're fidgety people, restless. That's an extraordinary phenomenon, first. Second, Do they listen?
I think we could go back to our earlier definition of listen to music. There's listening, and then there's becoming one
Yes,
with it.
Now they forget themselves.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Afterwards they go back. Will there be, out of those 4, 3, 5, whatever number is, some say, all right, I've got it. I won't move from here.
All right, now they want to move. What is the step in movement?
First step.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first step is the last step.
Step is the only step. But let's go into step. There they are. There's this 1 or 2 seeds. They've poked their way up through the soil.
Through the cement.
Through the cement. Exactly, through the cement. Hard job. Even that much was a hard job. Now they know it's going to...
That means what? Have you seen grass growing out of pavement?
I have. I love it.
The vitality of that.
Right.
The
I go...
strength of the
Yes.
grass.
I go around New York and I look for grass growing out of pavement.
Now, if 1 or 2 have that
Mm-hmm.
vitality, that energy, that attention, that's enough, isn't it? And if they come out of the cement, that's a good expression, come out of the cement, then they'll go on.
Right, now they'll go on. Is this going to have an impact on the stream of humanity? Are you first, is Kay interested in having that impact on the stream of humanity?
Naturally.
Correct. So...
No, I believe it's natural. It's like air.
Mm-hmm. So we have a couple poking up through the cement, and maybe at that point, maybe they need more nurturing, Krishnaji.
No.
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 They don't need more nurturing?
That grass, unless human beings come and cut it. Suppose that seed growing out of the cement,
Mm-hmm.
the blade of grass,
Mm-hmm.
marvelously,
Mm-hmm.
that one grass of it.
I do know.
Mhm.
Yes.
If it's allowed to grow, not cut off, stepping on it, and that maybe he's also moving out to the street.
Mm-hmm.
And he may also follow, keep the thing going. And when he talks, there'll be another seed.
So that person brings others out of the stream.
Naturally. He doesn't set out to bring the people out. You understand? He said, this is how to... You are hungry, there is food.
Mm-hmm.
Some eat it, some say, sorry, I like more, whatever it is, more spice or less spice or different kind of, etc. But those who eat it may be... I think also we will discuss it if you are not...
Just,
Come on.
we have time if you...
Where are we going?
About halfway. Quite.
You see, with the cells of the brain, the biological mutation, if there are few people, say 500,000 people in the world, who have really brought about a biological mutation in all the rest of it, a great radical change, I think it would, the more there are of those people, it would affect the stream. Not just 1 or 2. there are hundreds, I mean, it would be immense thing.
Do you know of?
I don't know.
You know, I know you won't. I know you wouldn't answer that.
You know, if each one felt the immense responsibility of this and moved away from the street, no longer swimming in the street, that's better. No longer swimming in the street. Say it doesn't here, doesn't in Europe, what should be more? It would certainly affect the whole street.
It would affect the whole street. Okay. Could we now?
One would affect it little, affect it somewhat. But if there are 50 people, or naturally, they immensely.
So immense changes would take place on the planet.
Oh yes, obviously. I don't know about planet on this earth.
On this earth.
Oh yes, it would. That's why Kay is working at something to bring about a few people like that.
Now, is there a way, when one is ready to make that commitment, or when one is pushing through, it's not a commitment.
It's not a commitment.
No, it's not. When one is pushing through the cement, is there a way that Kay can accelerate, and to prevent some other human being coming and cutting it off before?
That's the difficulty. You and I start pushing out, coming out of this tree, out of this cement. Then somebody comes along and says, I'll help you. And the moment I accept his help, I'm gone.
But couldn't he, isn't there a difference, Krishnaji, between helping in a way that that tries to do it for someone and throwing a little fertilizer on or putting a little fence around so that nobody hurts it?
Look at it, you're asking an impossible question, really. It feels really, if that blade of grass left alone, it would be, it would cover the ground.
Right.
But X comes along says, Kundalini or X thing or Y is exciting, come into it. You understand? Unless that blade of grass is immensely strong and vital, it'll be, if it's a weak blade, it will soon be smothered, destroyed. And if it's strong, it doesn't want any help. And who is able to help it? The church?
No, but when it's, doesn't someone have to put the seed in the ground and make sure there's a little water on it?
Somebody has done it.
Somebody has done that.
Suppose, look, your Christianity, what has happened to Christianity? If Jesus really existed at all, what they made up.
Right. That's the distortion. But we all know the distortions. Well, I mean, you and I and many people know the distortions. But is there a way of...
Madam, but the vast majority of 700 million Catholics don't see the distortion.
Well,
it's a tremendous organization of business.
Well, let's say there is the distortion in any religion,
all
any kind of religion.
Are distorted.
There's distortion. But isn't there a way to assist? I mean, isn't there a way for Kay to assist that grass? It's within the blade, but isn't there also a way of assisting that to become even stronger until it gets up to a certain point where it can live on its own?
Yes. if it's a very tender grass, as it's just coming out.
I'm a tender grass.
Yeah, tender grass.
Okay.
You put something around it, protect
Okay.
it.
All right.
Don't say, I'm helping you.
No. But could we say the way the stream...
Don't walk on the grass.
All right.
You put a sign there, you say, don't walk. But everybody puts a sign, walk this way, that way, the other way. That's what's happening.
Doesn't the grass, though, need a little assistance from the person who is already outside? Doesn't the one who is in the stream...
Wait a minute. If that blade of grass is very tender, it's just beginning to come out of the cement, naturally one has to protect it. Otherwise some man who is walking careless steps on it, wipes it out. That grass is cut to pieces. So, you see, it's a dangerous simile, you see. Because if the person who has germinated to carry on the same seed has come out, he doesn't want anything. He is out of the stream. You can't help him.
Right. There were two parts to this then. This person, the one, we'll say K, Mr. K, who has stepped out of the stream, then ends, then dies. The physical body dies. Is what happens after what we see as the physical organism dying. That's what we see on the senses level. We see the physical organism of Mr. K having died. Does something different at that time occur with Mr. K than with Mr. X, who stayed in the stream?
I got yours. Mr. X remains in the stream.
Right. Now we've dealt with him. You said we'd get to Mr. K.
Yeah. X remains in the stream. And
Right.
that stream manifests itself all the time, right?
Right.
As Mr. Smith, Mr. somebody are all over the world, it's manifesting itself. Now a man who is no longer swimming with the stream, not against the stream, right? He's no longer swimming in the water, against or with. What are you asking?
I'm asking now.
What
Not about Mr. X. We finished with Mr. X. You promised me we'd finish with Mr. X, and when we get to Mr. K.
I'm dodging it.
Yes, you're dodging it, Krishnamurti. Now we are with Mr. K, and Mr. K has ended it. All right? He is apart from the stream. Mr. K's physical body dies. Now what?
Now just wait, before I answer it. Why are you asking this question?
Because I care.
What do you care?
I am concerned about what happens in terms of when the physical body dies of such a
You've
person.
said that. You've
Right.
said that.
When such a person dies,
You've said that.
what that effect will, again, it would have an effect back on, perhaps back
no,
on.
you're
No, it won't.
I would like
Maybe I'm curious.
what? Curious.
Maybe we've dealt with the effect on the stream, all right? But there should, why am I asking? I really want to know. I want to know if there is another state. I guess that's it. If there is a state beyond.
See, don't care. You see, if one says there is, what importance has it?
Well, you see, it isn't to cling to it, Krishnaji.
I understand all this.
All right. But if, for instance, when Krishnamurti dies, the impact that remains for
The
those...
books are all written.
Yes, but I'm not sure that the books aren't the impact that I'm talking about. Is there another impact? Is there something which remains for those of us who have not left the physical body yet?
I know what you're asking.
I know you often know, but let me say this. Are you willing to answer it?
Is there a perfume?
Mm-hmm.
That's not revolting of the perfume.
That lingers?
Huh?
That lingers?
Is there a perfume that remains after K died? While K was living, there was that perfume. I'm making it very... And when the physical organism pops off, dies, will that perfume go on? Right? Is that what you're saying?
That's good. Mm-hmm.
All right, let me put the question differently. That stream is very limited. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That stream is narrow, noisy,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's limited, its vitality is low, its energy is...
Of those who are in the stream.
That stream,
That stream is
not those who are in
okay,
it,
right.
that stream.
Yes, right.
That
stream is limited.
It is not a tremendous river.
Mm-hmm.
It's tremendous volume behind it. It's a stream that's being added all the time, to which everything is being added. And therefore it's that which is, to which something is added, is very limited.
But that's still not our question.
I'm coming to that. Listen to it. You haven't finished. Okay. That is very limited. You and I must be very clear when I say what I mean by limited. Anything that is being added to, or has a motive, or commonality, is that word, is always boundaries, banks. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a limited energy. The person who is no longer swimming in that stream, when the body dies, there is that immense energy which is unlimited.
Is it? You mean there's immense energy released, or is released a bad?
No,
it's there.
Immense energy exists only when there is emptiness. Because it is contained, the river, the stream. Here there is no borders, no. There's no causation. That has a causation.
The stream has the causation.
Of course.
Right. But outside the stream there is vastness with no causation.
Of course, that's the real thing. That's the creation. Creation is not God created the world because he has nothing to do. I think this is right.
Just the other part of that we sort of left, and it may be that
Which is the perfume?
the perfume that goes on, or what now.
The perfume can only be smelled, can be smelled when you're out of the stream. When you are no longer swimming with
In
the
the
stream.
stream.
How can I smell of the thing while I'm swimming in the stream?
Right. Your nose is clogged up.
I'm full of struggle, trying to breathe. The current is too strong, fighting, pulling away.
Right. Now, maybe Krishnaji wants to, as you said before, dodge this question because of not wanting to create something after his own death.
Yes.
All right. So I understand that there may be something, but can there be that which is the Krishnamurti perfume or consciousness?
No, it's not Krishnamurti perfume.
No, I know it's not. It is a It was a manifestation which arose, and then the body of it died. Now, is that still there, available?
What are you? Look.
When the body dies.
When the body, look carefully, I've said that. This stream is very, very limited.
Mm-hmm.
Its energy is also limited.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the energy of the scientist or the poet or the painter or the writer, and the still less energy for the politicians and so on. It is still, that stream is limited energy. Right? So, when there is no, when one is no longer swimming with that stream and moves out of it, there is limitless energy. It's not K achieving limitless.
Right.
That would be terrible.
No. But when K is dead, can the people who have broken, the organism dies, can those who have been coming through the cement still contact something?
They must, you don't say you can't contact them.
Oh, no. But then is there a purpose for having K having lived?
What?
The purpose for K
Yes.
having lived and talked is what?
Purpose?
Right. Is there a purpose?
Look, what do you mean purpose? Is there? He was born, he was raised, he was gone through all this, and he's talking,
Mm-hmm.
and hopes somebody will eat the food.
Mm-hmm.
And you see occasional grass coming out of the cement, and hope somebody won't tread on it.
Uh-huh.
But unless you come out of that, unless there is a movement away from the stream, the other thing cannot possibly exist. You can speculate on it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, be romanticized, go and worship it.
Mm-hmm.
Pray to it. It's all meaningful. It's like praying for peace while you're manufacturing armaments.
Right. In fact, death in that sense is something like nationalism and territory. Now people sort of, this is my nation, this is my territory, and death is like getting out of the skin of the nationalism of the territory. That.
Is that all your questions?
No, Krishnaji, that's not all of my questions, but it would be enough for today, if that's what you think.